At 19 years old, he's behind the camera filming for the boys at 98. At 21 years old, he's filming behind the scenes for celebrities David Goggins, Deion Sanders, Mark Cuban, Tim Hofacker. Welcome to Gross Potential. How the heck did you get a gig to film for the boys at 98 and direct some of their content at the age of 19 years old?
Yeah, it was right place, right time.
I know you filmed for Goggins. My question is he the same way behind stage? David Goggins.
No, he's not.
One of the girls that is at Alabama, and I don't know if she's in a sorority or not, but it's Sydney Thomas. And I saw that you guys did a night out with her with Fetty. What's it like going out with Sydney Thomas?
It was great.
I think a fan got tattooed on his arm your motto, which is stay strong.
Those two words stem from a health condition that I have that I was diagnosed with at 13, juvenile arthritis.
Tim Hofacker, welcome to Gross Potential. It is a pleasure to have you on. I'm fired up.
Let's go, Anthony. Such an honor, pleasure's mine. This is my first ever podcast, and man, your stuff has been blowing up. And when I applied and when we got connected, we called 2 days ago, and now we're here to give people, I think, some gold nuggets and a lot of value, a lot of crazy stories just from my career, my personal experience. But dude, thank you for having me on. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited, dude. This is sick.
Absolutely. And so if you don't know who Tim is, let me just give you a brief outline of his resume. At 19 years old, he's behind the camera filming for the boys at 98. If you don't know the boys at 98, go and look them up. Me and my college friends would watch these videos all the time. And like we're sitting, because like WashU wasn't a huge party school. And so we're sitting and I'm watching, buzzing across America, going to Texas, going to Iowa, and I'm like, fuck. Like this looks so lit. Like I gotta take a weekend trip. Yeah. At 19 years old, he's doing boys at 98. Then at 21 years old, he's filming behind the scenes for celebrities David Goggins, Deion Sanders, Mark Cuban. The list goes on. We'll get into that. And now at 22, he's the full creative director of Fetty. And if you don't know what Fetty is, I didn't know what Fetty actually was. We'll get into that. But it's the organization on TikTok. They tour all these fraternity and sorority houses. Amazing, amazing freaking content. I'm so fired up to have you. And let's get right into this podcast.
My God, what an intro. Thank you. I don't even know. I'm honored. That was insane, Anthony. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So we have an opening tradition on this podcast, and I start everybody off with the same question. And that question is, Tim, what TV, book, or movie character do you think best resembles you and why?
Resembles me? I'm a big advocate of Suits. So in a sense, I wish in another life, and I think in another life, Harvey Specter from Suits. He was the managing CEO, like one of the biggest in New York and in the show. He's just, his demeanor, his cutthroat versus he can also know when to be childish and when to play around, but when it's time to get business done, he's very critical. He's a perfectionist, which is good and bad, but all the traits of Harvey Specter. And I had the pleasure of meeting him. The actual actor's name is Gabriel Macht. And when we were in LA for one of the events that I was filming, a lot of my coworkers at the time had no clue who Harvey was. So I was backstage. It was just the CEO, Andrew Cordo, who I was filming for, and then a couple other camera guys. And it was just a lot of people don't know this, but Gabriel Macht, or Harvey in Suits, his father in the show, or his actual father plays, he's like the son and father of both in the show. And it was just Harvey, the actual dad in the show, which I had no clue. He was actually, I recognized him, but I'm like, oh my God. Once I shook his hand, I'm like, I was shitting bricks. I was shaking very, very much so. So very intimate, green screening room. And that actor, I watched him before I even met him, and it was an honor. He was the sweetest guy, not that hard-headed nosed, very I don't know, very hot and cold. In person, like he was just a genuine sweet guy talking on stage. Very mental health advocate. So I was expecting to see the enforcer, dickhead character that Harvey is on Suits, but just complete opposite. So it was a very intimate green screening room with just his mom, his dad, him, and then like a couple camera guys, including myself, and then the people that we hosted the Aspire tour for. So that was
You
last year, and that was sick.
you said like the Harvey guy from Suits. I've never watched Suits, but one of my friends, he loved the show. Like he could
Oh
not.
yeah,
He just all he did was rave about it. But you said one thing about him is like he puts a ton of quality and he's very like perfectionist, detail oriented in his work.
for sure.
You see yourself the same way with the stuff you do.
I think you have to. I think if you want to be a high performer or just a high level person that treats himself with respect, you want to fully immerse and invest yourself, whether it's a vision of a project or whether it's you're overseeing a lot of people you're looked to and you're the head of a lot. So you got to take yourself so critically and immerse the work is
Yeah.
the best of the best. There's no flaws. There's no cutting corners. So like he was a lawyer in the show. So lawyer in New York, nonetheless. And um, I think perfectionism is can be really good. I'd rather be a perfectionist than not because then, I mean, obviously, if you take your work seriously, whether it's you're editing a video or creating a big project, if you take it seriously, then other people will take it seriously. So, um, perfectionism is for the good and for the bad, but
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Watching him work in the show, I implemented those
Do you
attributes.
think do you think perfectionism ever hurts from this standpoint? Because I deal with this. Like, obviously, this podcast is growing, and I'm no Tim Hofacker. Like, I'm not the editing guy. I'm not graphic design. So like, I have a guy that does that stuff, and he's freaking amazing. Like, I love this kid. But this
Yeah.
podcast is going to keep growing and growing and growing. It's going to be one of the biggest ones someday. And so, at some point, you have to keep bringing on talent. But the biggest issue with that is delegation and trusting other people. And if you have such a perfectionist mindset, how does that impact you as a leader? And now bringing on employees, have you struggled with that?
It gets only the biggest thing is you just got to over communicate exactly what you want because you get in and I catch myself getting in these modes where I try to hand off projects or I hire these graphic designers, these talents, and I give them the overview and I just to a T just continue to milk this is what I want, and then if one it's not done quick enough, and two if it's not to the quality that I'm so used to, then I'll just say fuck it. I got to do it myself. Like I know what I want, but
Gotcha.
that's how really that's how you win is sacrificing and putting your trust in someone and giving them opportunity after opportunity. And then if it's something that you don't want or they're not performing, then
Yeah.
there's a lot of talented people and just people that are really good at just making a graphic or if editing a video or going out and filming or flying a drone. So I mean, I wear multiple hats, but yeah, that's how delegation is how you're able to accomplish more and to pump out more.
Yeah.
And yeah, ultimately it comes down to just over communicating. But perfectionism definitely can stunt that, and it's something. But I think I'd rather it be that way.
Yeah. It's a double edged sword.
Yeah.
Um, And so before we get into some of your work with like the Boys of 98, the celebs, Fetty,
Mhm.
there's one more thing I want to touch base on. And I was scrolling through your page and I saw one of your videos and I think a fan got tattooed on his arm your motto, which is stay strong.
Yeah.
First of all, that's got to be the coolest thing in the entire world to know that like there's people out there that bought into you so much and love you so much that they do that. But
Mhm.
what's the significance with that motto?
Yeah. So that motto, when before the Boys in '98, I did my own personal branding, learning how to make my own thumbnails, going out and filming a big series that there's two things before I guess really I started making content for other people was making content for myself. And one of the things that I did was pick up basketball. So Kobe came around and I chose there's more to life than basketball, but I still love the game. So what I did in Jacksonville, Florida, where kind of this all started, my personal channel. I did pick up basketball videos. I would mic myself up and I would just post on my Instagram story, hey, guys, let's get after it. We're running, we're filming. Come to this park. See you guys at 5 o'clock. We'll play for 2 hours. Come be in the video, come play in the video. So the first park video probably got like 8, 9 people. And then it got to the point where for 2 months, 3 months before I went away to trade school and moved to Orlando, in that 3 month stint, the last park video, I had over 150 people. We had sign up sheets, and it was just the power of me posting on my story. And everyone's like, okay, let's go be in Tim's video. Like they'll all carpool together. They all drive 40 minutes. Some people, we had a Division III basketball player drive from Georgia, drove like an hour and a half to come play at the park. And those mini moments like that, I'm like, I don't deserve this, but I've been busting my ass and like, I just want to showcase, I want to create. So from that, I got into like just health, wellness, just stuff that is very involved in my life. And then the stay strong, those 2 words stem from a health condition that I have that I was diagnosed with at 13, juvenile arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. And it's called ankylosing spondylitis. So if you look at your back and the hip bone of your back, the low back, there's these 2 little joints. They're called your SI joints, your sacroiliac joints. So that's the source of where I have my arthritis. So to go from playing basketball full time to that being shut down and having to relearn, I had an injury to where I got mono. After I got mono, I was playing AAU ball. Took me a year to get back from mono. Came down with a rebound and I felt like this is my body, and I fell flat onto the hardwood. Guy came under me, caught the rebound. I fell flat on my back. And then for about, I don't know, like a month and a half, I couldn't walk. Then they pulled me into a wheelchair to the hospital, and we had no clue what was going on. And so from that, we got on the right medication. Now, I was 13, 14 years old. So a lot of the arthritic medications were not like my body couldn't handle it. And they don't prescribe that to anyone until they're like 16 or even 18. So I was diagnosed early, found out very early. That was like a 2-3 year process. So then I got medication. I was good. So once I overcame that. It was a very dark time, a very dark place. A lot of relearning, now I got to not only just play basketball or just day to day, picking up, having a crane and having a thing to clip and clamp socks so I can put on my socks, because the bending of my back hurt so much. It was just so new for me. And it was a pretty rare source and case of arthritis, like the AS, ankylosing spondylitis. I think the percentage is like one in every 1,000. You could fact check me, I'm not sure, but the probability and the percentage, not only to get it, but then also at that age. Yeah. So it was a double whammy. And because of that, very quickly, rheumatoid arthritis doctors, they got a hold of me, got a hold of my case. And then I've been in the past, almost coming up on 9 years now, in a health research study up in the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. So they do full body MRIs on me. They do blood work. They do tests where they test my flexibility, my measurements and all that. And it's year in and year out. It's all about the best form of medicine is moving your body, is working out. And then behind that is sleep. Those 2 things go hand in hand. You don't move your body, you're going to become a brick and a stiff board. And by the age of 60, you're not going to be able to move. So the motto, stay strong, stemmed from that whole experience. You just got to, sometimes some moments in life, you just got to tie the rope and just hold on tight, and you just got to stay strong and stick through it. So those 2 words, like I just kept telling myself, like, stay strong, Tim, stay strong. You'll get through it. It's okay. Push the field goal post. Like, we'll continue to achieve goal after goal. And then I just started saying that in my YouTube videos. And very quickly, the guy that got tattooed, last week I was in the gym and he didn't even tell me. If I didn't post on my Instagram story that I was in the gym, I was asking people what kind of content they want to see. Yeah. And he just DMs me the photo. He's like, yo, I got this from you. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I've been blessed and fortunate to have a lot of a lot of like pretty cool moments, but that is definitely up there. That to have someone ink their body to a motto, and for him to say, one, it was his first tattoo, and two,
Yeah.
I was a huge reason, or I was the reason. I was dumbfounded, and it was a very, very cool experience, and it still is. Like Charlie, it's a guy from St. Louis, Missouri,
Yeah.
and he reached my videos, and he's been sticking with it ever since, and he's just been a supporter, and to the point where he got something tattooed on him for forever. So
Yeah.
that's
It's a wild story. I can't imagine how that makes you feel. I didn't know you had those health issues, but it's kudos to you because like you got a better physique than like 99% of people on this planet. So like
thank you.
you're you're pushing past all this other stuff, which it's making. I just went on a cruise and I was just like, I was eating like shit. I got no sleep and I'm gaining all this weight. And I'm like, well, I got to go on a cut, but I got no excuses, bro. You look 10 times better than me. And
Thank you.
you have every excuse in the world why you shouldn't. So it's definitely inspiration for other
Thank
people.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Half of it is dieting on top of my food allergies since I was 8 months old. So for anyone that I have severe dairy, egg, and shellfish food allergies. So I those three things have been out of my life, out of my diet for a while. So like
Yeah.
milk, dairy, that bloats a lot of people, sluggish. Eggs, I really wish I could have eggs, but can't. And then there's just a multitude of other things like cookies, like a lot of baked goods, a lot of stuff that is just eliminated. And it's a very not straight. If I eat it, I'll die. So, I mean, yeah. So, on top of eating good, and then with my arthritis, I'm forced to work out and move my
Yeah.
body. So,
Interesting.
um, yeah, without the hard work, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
your body's a temple for sure.
All right. Well, let's get in the boys in '98. So I uh I mean I'll just start with this. How the heck did you get a gig to film for the boys in '98 and direct some of their content at the age of 19 years old?
Yeah, it was right place, right time. I just graduated from trade school. I went to trade school. It's called First Institute. A lot of people, it's the competitor for Full Sail.
Yeah.
A lot of people have heard of Full Sail, and they connect those dots. I graduated from there, and I had no job. I had not a lot of experience under me, and a friend of mine, Evan, a friend of mine, the boys in '98, they're about to go on their fifth and final tour, all the Big 12 schools. So they posted a story saying, hey, we're looking for a videographer editor to come on season 5 with us. And I had no clue who they were. I've never watched. So when I swiped up on the story, I'm talking to him. I'm like, is this Nelk, or is this like, who are these guys? He's like, just apply. Just apply. It's an opportunity. I'm like, okay. So I submitted all my stats. I gave him my links for my portfolio, where I'm at. And the next day, one of the main guys, Christian, and in the videos, Chip, he texted me, and we hopped on an interview with me and the other guy, Chancey. So I hopped on an interview. They asked me some questions. They asked, this is a huge commitment. This is 4 months of your life from August, all of September, all of October, and all of November of 2023. You're coming, you're filming and editing, but you're also going to be living with us. Like, okay. And there was about 40 other applicants that applied to the form, but it was between me and one other guy.
Yeah.
And they said, once I flew into Chicago and I met them, said, Tim, 38 of those guys were just a bunch of frat guys that just wanted to booze, go out. There was almost all of them. He said, like, I'll learn on the spot. Like, if you give me a camera, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Never edited a YouTube video, like no edit, just terrible experience. Like, so it was between me and this other guy, and I ended up meeting the guy on tour, and now we're like good friends. He was like, none taken, like go kill the opportunity. So I had a decision. They said, you got the gig. We would love to have you. The thing is, in about 2 weeks, we're going to Minnesota. I'm like, okay. Now, I've only been to probably like 2 states at this point. So all of these crazy, we hit schedule-wise, first week was Minnesota, then we went Iowa, and then we went to Mississippi State, and then we doubled back. Then we get Cincinnati, like a lot of these out west schools, Northwest schools that I have no clue what life is like. Um, they flew me out. I met them in Chicago. We got dinner in Chicago, and then we drove everywhere. We had an SUV,
Yeah.
and for 13, 14 weeks, filming, editing, week in and week out, the schedule was we would get to school on like Minnesota. We got there Thursday night. We got there Thursday night. All day Friday, we're filming. Saturday is the game, doing tailgates, interviews, everything. And this is so new for me. I was super quiet. I'm doing my own thing. And then Sunday, we'd pack our stuff and then we drive to the next school. Sunday, we get there. Monday through Thursday, we're editing the one long form YouTube video that guys on Thursday night, when it posts, guys are pre-gaming. They're anticipated. What did the boys do the week prior? Oh, they went to Minnesota. Let me see what, and they're living our life vicariously, like through us.
Yeah.
So, um, like a lot of people would have killed to like, I think it was just right place and right time for that opportunity. And for all the way until Thanksgiving break, like Texas, drove from Florida to Texas all the way 16 hours to Virginia. And we're just with these guys, with Chip, Matthew Chanchi, and then our other videographer at the time, Matty Zaps. And Zaps, that's what we call him, was with them for, I think for 4 years. Like he was with them since season one. And from that, I had a very, it kickstarted of this career, like how often you travel, how sometimes spontaneously you don't know what kind of opportunity can come out of it. And after doing it, the working for damn near free, it was an internship. So I did all of that, edited their videos, but I just loved it so much that just seeing the 200,000 views, knowing that these, like I edited these 4 or 5 minutes in these videos. And obviously like just filming and just seeing all walks of life and like these kids that, I mean, I wasn't even legally allowed to drink. So when we would go to these bar events and stuff, I would just wear like the bar's t-shirt and they like, no, like, okay, he's with the boys. Like, he's not, I didn't have a sip of alcohol. During that entire, I was the DD the entire way. Like we would go out, I'm driving, I'd film, I would bring their drunk behinds back home. Um, and then, obviously some extra people came back with us as well. And, week in and week out. And it was a culture shock. It was a lot. It was living with two Canadians and, a guy from Michigan, and just all coming together and completing a mission of just getting content and banging out this tour. And now because those videos, like people pick their colleges, like they watch those videos and be like, okay, this is what I was about. Okay, those bars are sick. This is what the tailgating is. Okay, they got a football team. Like campus looks pretty nice. I'm gonna go there. Like, and from that, I got a good network. And then later on the podcast, we can talk about it. But if I didn't do that opportunity with the boys, that's how Fetty came about. And yeah, you never know what in the moment down the road an opportunity can lead for you. So
What did those road trips look like? I mean, you packed in a van, you're going, like, what did that look like?
a lot of house music. I never knew what house was. Now, like the thing was, these guys, like some creators and some people, when you start recording, it's like rewire. This is my character.
Yeah.
Those guys never turned it off. They were always just in the car, like as if it was a frat party. The frat flick, the everything, like that was just their lifestyle. They love to party. Like even now, like they still go out. They'll go to Nashville. They'll go to Miami. Like they immerse. They love it. So it was very easy for them. But for me, I had no clue. I didn't know what Greek life was. I didn't even know that was a thing. So like I'm going in these houses. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like this cult? Like what are we doing? And a lot of house music, a lot of long drives. We would just brainstorm in the car. We would come up with like tug of war. Like we have a huge rivalry this weekend. So we'd all brainstorm for like an hour, 2 hours. We would listen to Call Her Daddy in the podcast, like in the car. We would listen to One Night with Steiny. We would listen to just like a lot of familiar creators that are also in our space.
Yeah.
Um, and then we would never, like the videographers and editors, we wouldn't drive. We would just be editing, or we'd be making
Right.
thumbnails or graphics. We would utilize our time like during the those long trips to get stuff done or get ourselves ready. So that way, Monday through Thursday,
You
we're editing, we're
wait.
cranking out stuff.
What did the boys of '98 have to do with Call Her Daddy?
Oh, they just love listening to her.
Oh, all right. I love her too. I try to draw inspiration. She's amazing. Alex Cooper's great. I try to draw inspiration all the time from her.
Yeah, both her and well, I know they're not in a good place right now. It's a hot mess one, but Alex Earl was another
Yeah,
one we listened to. So
no,
yeah,
they're the
the
best.
whole world was just it was new for me. I was just like, who are these Canadians? Who are these people? And who are we listening to? Like Fisher, like
Yeah,
John Summit wasn't a thing, but all these like different music. I'm like just this. I was just like, wow, I can't take it. But you grow into, and now it's it's a big part of like the
yeah.
Fetty marketing, like all the songs that we use. It was a huge foundation to the understanding content wise and what young kids one like to watch and two like to be a part of. So yeah.
What was the craziest night that you filmed with them?
Mm. There's a lot of crazy nights. There's a lot of let me think. The Big 12, a lot of those schools just love to drink. So University of Iowa, we go to a bar event. At each school, we would book out or we would be like a special guest.
Hmm.
And the boys in 98, they would drink in the videos. They get after it they feed into the content. And so I got two stories. One of them was University of Iowa, and they all bought, I want to say, like 80 pitchers full of just alcohol, and they line them up on both sides of the table. It's like two teams, and it's like a full frat. And then what they did is when you finish a pitcher, you stack your cup onto the next one, or you stack it like under it until like the last guy, he's got like this tall stacked one, but he's got to drink it from like his cup is the top one, but they would just keep
Fire shot.
stacking. So they would have the brothers like I don't know, it'd just be like this long cup of pitchers, and like they would have to like get it up, and then by the last one, like if you think about it, a tall pitcher, it would just splash onto the guy. So it was a relay race. So they would go two by twos, and it was just like two groups of like 10 frat guys, and they would just get hammered. So then first round of pitchers, then they bring out more, just kept going because people in Iowa, that's all they have to do is drink. So um, filming that was ridiculous. Seeing the amount of alcohol that was consumed was off the charts. Another one was a theme that we did or we had when we were on tour um, was pants beers. So very simple. A pants beer is you take a beer, or it doesn't even have to be a beer. You just take your alcohol, you open up your drawers, you open up your pants, and you shove it down. And it goes down your leg, goes down your side. So when I first saw the first pants beer, I was like, this is so idiotic. This is a waste of money. But guys would just buy literally alcohol, like big beer, like beer can bottles, or just like pitchers, like pitcher pants beers. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a beer. It's just like an alcohol dose, like down the drawers, down the pants, down jeans, down just Lululemon joggers, and now you got wet compression shorts. Your family jewels smells horrible. And what happened was we were at Mississippi State, and this dwarf comes into the bar, and I don't know, he's probably an astounding 4 foot, I don't know, 4 foot like 6, like knee high, comes into the bar. He's got two full pitchers, probably the size of his head, and he just goes, and then this other guy just like takes open or like rips open his pants, like, and like then shows his just underwear. So totally skipped a step. Takes two pitchers and douses. We have it on film. Douses two pitchers full, and it was like his whole lower half like was just soaked. Like it was something out of a movie. A lot of Project X moments. But
Yeah.
turn the corner, we see this dwarf. The gates open. All the people are moving, and it comes right up to us and the camera and just rips it. Everyone's going crazy. They're lifting him up like he's Simba. It was just ridiculous. Um, and Mississippi State is like one of the rowdiest colleges. So that moment was very fitting, and it was just another day in Starkville, Mississippi.
So I actually just watched the Iowa video right
Mhm.
before this podcast, so I know exactly what you're talking about. There's also a guy in Iowa. I think his name was Billy Beers.
Billy Beers, yes. Shout out Billy. Yeah.
Holy shit, that guy can drink beer. Like,
Bro, yes.
boom, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
He would swig it, and we yeah, there was every single stop we kind of would try to get a character to come with us and
Mm,
to interact with us in the content. So Billy was just a student. He was a senior at Iowa, so it just worked out. And we'd always just find like a go-to guy that would show us around and kind of give us the reins, like go-to stuff. And it helped that a lot of these people like dig content and like
yeah.
are good with the camera and familiar with it. So Billy was one of them, and yeah, seeing that man throw down alcohol was astounding. There was a couple other. I'm trying to think of other people that we had. Oh, we had Harry, Pigeon Vision. Our first week, him and Bob Menery came out the first weekend. Super cool guys. That was wild. Like seeing Bob and meeting Bob, and then yeah, there was a point where we were just all in the hotel room after, and Bob just he didn't bring anything. He just booked a hotel room and he just brought like his phone and like extra pair of clothes. He's like, let's rip it. Like most of this space is very spontaneous. Just gotta be ready to go. And I mean, Bob is a product of just continuing to climb the ranks, and he's very good at what he does. So yeah, we'd always try and find like either a student that just knows what's going on around campus or an influencer that, hey, come get in these videos.
I also saw. I think there's one video. It was at Minnesota, right? And you guys got arrested after the game or something.
Oh my God.
Detained. What happened?
We got, that was my, that's a great, I totally forgot. I always tell myself that I don't want to remember that. That was my first 8 hours with them.
That
So
was fun.
So we
Holy
drove from Chicago. I landed in Chicago, and we drove to Minnesota, and we were there for that game.
yeah.
And the game was on a Friday night, so I flew in Friday morning, and then we drove Chicago to Minnesota. Is like I don't know, a couple hours, and we immediately got out of the car, hitting the tailgates, go to the game. Game overtime thriller, and the other videographer wasn't with us. He wasn't. He was with Harry. He was with Pigeon Vision and Bob doing something else, like tomfoolery stuff. So it was just me and the main guys. I'm like, okay, I have my responsibility is this channel's in my hands, and they give me no filming reins, whatever. So we're first row, and what happened? Field goal, game winner, comeback win, and we were already anticipating and talking like, are we storming the field? We're talking to other students like, don't leave us high and dry. We're storming, right? We're doing this together. They're like, yeah. They rage baited us. They totally got us. So Chip, who's in overalls, he goes, jumps first. Now it's a steep drop. So he goes and fireworks are going off. And then I give the camera to Matt, the next guy, and he jumps down. I'm like, okay. And so he's got the camera. I'm like, all right, I got one decision. I'm like, they're going to fire me if I don't jump. I was like, but this is so trespassing. I'm in Minnesota. I don't know these guys. It's like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Here we go. Jump. Almost sprained my ankle. I take the camera, and in stride, I take the camera from one of the boys in 98's hand. And in stride, he hands it off, and the cop takes his arm and like puts it behind his back. Now the cops, I don't know why they didn't they just knew that I was with them or I was just like press or staff because I was wearing Minnesota stuff. So they didn't but I mean, like hands gripping on both of their shoulders. So now it's like boys in 98, and we're walking. And I'm like, I'm shitting bricks. I'm like, I'm about to get arrested. I'm in Minnesota. I'm all across the country. My family's in Florida. I was like, all right, this is the beginning of the end. So then officers take us back. They take us back to this room. and the police officers were like, IDs. Now we already talked that we're not going to give our IDs. We say like, oh, we lost them, or I have a paper ID, but because we were trying to get out of there, like we had so much responsibility. We had 13, 14 more weeks ahead of us. So they bring us into this back room and they ask for IDs. We deny and we say no, like we just don't have them on us. So then they press down, they find our wallets, they take our IDs, and we sweet talk the hell out of these officers. Be like, listen, we're not even, they even said, they're like, we're not even from this country. We're not even residents. We live in Canada. I was like, I live in Florida. I was like, I'm here so I don't get fined. And they let us go. And we had to explain what we were doing. Said we have a YouTube channel. We didn't mean anything by it. We were filming. And I just had the biggest cojones. The entire interaction, I had my camera and I was just like this filming,
Not
and
at
they
all.
couldn't see it. And to the point where I'm just like, I'm just trying to do my job. Like, I don't want this to go south. Like, I want to make sure we get this content. This is huge. First video, like, you're kidding me? Sick. So to the point where like the boys in 98 guys were like, yo, chill, like it's okay, you don't have to film. I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm like, I'm right here with it. And that was, no charges were pressed. We got off easy. They just said that if we recognize you guys at a Minnesota game, if you guys try to do that again, then there's going to be
Yeah.
consequences. We're like, totally understand. I was like, we're not even going to be back. We're literally going to Iowa next week. So
It's a gritty ass story, and I watched that Minnesota thing before this too. And I could tell, like, was it Chip, the guy next to you, the taller guy with the mullet? It's like,
that's Matt.
oh,
Yeah.
that's all right. So Matt was like, he's kind of hysterical, like he's kind of like laughing, he was like tripping a little, and I remember the camera got flipped to you, and like you could tell, you're like stone cold face, you're like, I'm fucked right now. Uh,
Yeah.
but
When we got to Iowa, we reflected, and they said on the podcast, they're like, Tim is the GOAT. Like, they're like to the other videographer, you're like, you would have never done that. And I was like, yeah, I turned it around, self-logged it. If I'm gonna go out, I'm
yeah,
at least gonna go out like looking like a badass. So
you,
put it in the
you got
video.
this.
I gained the respect of a lot. Like everyone that watches the boys, they're like, "What? Like this new Tim guy? Like that's sick. Like he's for the boys. Like he'll do whatever." So I gained their trust, but they also didn't really. We all didn't have a choice. We all boot ganged it and we jumped, but it's just all for the content.
And so for like a night with that, like everybody sees these videos and they see the parties and stuff like that, but I'm sure people don't understand like the strategy that really goes behind it, and like your job as a creative director and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
walk me through what goes into a night on tour from your standpoint.
Yeah, we would on a Thursday night we would all kind of, and during the week we're eating clean, we're working out, we're taking care of our bodies. Like it got to the point when I was on tour with them, because I think they were 24, 25,
Yeah.
and their drinking days were like they'd still like drink here and there, just for the content. But aside of not filming, like they're just on top of it. And on top of my food allergies, it just like bled onto them. It's like, we're eating good, we're working out, we're getting our shit done. And Thursday night or any night, we would all come together. We group, okay, videographer, like we would kind of group up together. So me and Chip would go and film together. So we kind of like 2-on-2, we would divide and conquer.
Yeah.
We knew our content series, like me and Chip are doing public interviews. This is what we're asking. This is what's relative to the school. This is what's relative to right now. So example was Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift like just started dating, and we were at East Carolina University. So I think those 2-3 videos that we posted about interviews, about asking people, what are your thoughts on the relationship? Who's one person you really hate? Almost like 17 guys straight in a row. Fuck Taylor Swift. Da, da, da. I'm like, oh my God, this is madness. So being on your toes and being like around stuff that is in the times and that's relevant,
Yeah.
and then getting video content. We would always plan. We would always have a goal obviously, like as the tour went on, we didn't really need to speak. Like what's known doesn't have to be said. Like we know the expectations of going to a bar event. We need footage of the bar, the logos, people drinking, hot girls, the guys interacting with people, any guys that are recognizing, any selfies. Um, and then the tailgate stuff, like just making sure we have enough, because the way that long form YouTube videos work and the way that we did it is we would do um, a bunch of mini videos within the longer video. So it'd be like the intro piece, which is about 15, 20 seconds. Then giving context, this is a school facility tour. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. It's like a mini video, and you compile them up. So the way that we would film it, in my head, I'm already editing it. So mainly I'm looking through the lens and I'm already picking the clips and I'm already seeing that's going in, that's not going in, to save myself time. But then also how the camera looks, how the footage looks, that's how the people are going to look at it. So um, engagement wise for a longer form video, because we would post one and that would be the recap of the entire school and of our hard work and effort and money spent week in and week out, is just this one perfect polished video posted on the channel, is making mini videos and having two editors to where let's squeeze and really make this the best 2-3 minute segment, whether it's a facility tour with an athlete, whether it's super quick answers of interviews at a tailgate, or the football game, like somebody scores a touchdown, adding and implementing gameplay like live. um, that's how you keep retention, and that's how you ultimately win with long form, is a bunch of those mini videos in the bigger video to show personality, to show different environments, and to show just the full coverage.
Yeah.
So our responsibility, like as editors, obviously filmers, but editors, was like me and the other guy Zaps, like, okay, what do you have this week? Okay, I'm gonna tackle the tailgate interviews, the facility tours, and the house tour. Okay, I'll take care of the football game, I'll take care of the intro, and I'll take care of the outro where they score and they rate the school. I'm like, okay, we divide and conquer, and then I would give him, and then he would just flood it into the mainer video. And then once we post, like we would edit until literally like 10 minutes before we would post. We would export. When we export, that's when the video should be live. Like sometimes we miss deadlines just because like life and like we have like events and stuff. So we post, like one time we posted on a Friday. But
Yeah.
consistency is super, super hard at that demand and how much footage we have and how much just sheer content. And it's not even like with the boys in 98, it's with the behind the scenes stuff that I've done for these celebrities and for these CEOs. It's compiling hours of footage into the best of the best, and in an image that any ums and ahs, any like speaking parts, you got to be concise. You got to make them look really good, or else you'll lose people and people won't take the video seriously.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of getting off track, but like just the whole thing of long form video content is, if I were to ask you, Anthony, to, hey, watch this 15-second reel or 15 8-second clip. It's like, oh, okay, no sweat. Look, cool. I'll like it. I'll comment. I'll share. It's cool. But it's asking a lot of me for you to sit down. Hey, could you watch this YouTube video? And it comes out to being 29 minutes. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, Tim, this better be really damn good. Like if I'm going to allocate and not waste, but spend 30 minutes of my time watching your video. So enough, whether it's impacting someone or if it's entertaining someone, there's different roles and modes that when people watch a YouTube video, whether they watch any video, it's just basic marketing 101,
Yeah.
is you want people to feel an emotion. If you don't get an emotion out of someone when they watch, then what really purpose did the video?
And that's the thing with like being the guy that has to film and like edit the stuff. I don't know. Do you know Ryan? Have you heard the name Ryan Roll at all? Ryan Rail.
Ryan Roll?
Ryan Rail.
Rail. I know Ryan Trahan, but Ryan Rail.
I'll I'll connect you with him after. Like he's filmed for Bob Menery. He's from my hometown. I'm seeing him tonight, but he does the same similar stuff as you. And I always wonder, like, bro, you're filming hours of footage. how could you ever possibly go in and like condense all this stuff and put it
Yeah.
into a video? Like it seems like a very overwhelming task for me. But I mean that's what you kind of got to do.
It's a no, it's a headache. It's a completely different editing style, and that's why I mean, I've been doing both. Like I'm a monster. Like I'm the long form editor, and then I'm also the guy that like clips it up. So like I've just been doing it for like I mean I've been editing since high school. So
Yeah,
for I'm coming up on 8 years. But like I mean just like intense high level long form,
yeah,
and then I would also like make clips out of the out of the long form. Um, so yeah, it's long form editing is a completely different project, completely different mindset, and it's different storytelling. It's just it's a different element and it's a different progression of watching videos and creating the big product, the big baby of what people are going to be watching. So yeah, it's tough, but if it's done right,
yeah.
then people will recognize it. A good long form video.
And you mentioned too like the interviews. And
Yeah.
so, like, the interviews obviously have to be, there has to be some element of controversy in it, right? Like, if you're going to capture people's attention, especially on shorts or whether it is in long form. And as a college kid, when you're drinking and you're a little intoxicated and you get asked a crazy question, you're probably just going to spill the beans or whatever. But
Yeah.
then I got to think, like, there's some people the next day, they're like, shit, I don't really want that out. Like, did you have any crazy stories with that where people are like banging on your door saying, take this down, stuff like that?
Mix of both. When I was on tour with the boys, and then my coming up on 9, 10 months with Fetty, my time with Fetty too. Yeah, people don't even recognize or remember that they were being filmed. They're so tossed.
Yeah.
There's been when on tour, we always let kind of the DMs. Kind of we look at it if it's something really serious or something that's like really fucked up, or
Yeah.
if they're bashing their ex, or if they'll get in trouble by their sorority. That's the biggest problem is if people get in trouble by the sorority. Then it's like, okay, your parents are investing money or you're investing money. Like, yes, no question, we'll take it down.
Right.
Um, but there was one time. This is the worst interview I've ever seen. We were at the University of Cincinnati, and this girl, it wasn't an interview. Now, it could be an interview or just content in general. Like once it's out to the public, it's game over. And honestly, like for interviews, my thing is unless you tell me in person that I don't want to be filmed, then don't come into the camera. And
Yeah.
then after the fact, after we film, if you tell me, hey, deliberately, like, hey, delete that clip right now, I don't want to post it. Otherwise, you agreeing to the interview, that's your consent. You
Yeah.
saying yes, that's enough. So there was one time, there was a really bad moment. University of Cincinnati, she was totally for it. Like she didn't want it to be down, but we were playing Pong. There's a Pong tournament at one of the frats at Cincinnati. And the guy, it's like 9 a.m. Like game is at noon. We're tailgating. Guy like is choking. He's missing all of his shots. And his girlfriend that was to the left said to him, if you hit this shot for game, I will give you the best head of your life.
I saw that clip.
And behind the camera, my jaw like to the ground. I was like, that's the first 5 seconds. Like in my head, I'm like, boom, here we go. That's a viral video. So he hit it, and then crowd goes crazy. I just wanted to clarify and make sure. So I went up to the girl. I'm like, hey, I was like, just so you know, like, I just filmed all that. The camera heard it. We have over 230,000 subscribers. Like, are you okay with that? She's like, oh yeah, like I'm all for it. I'm like, oh God. I was like, if I said anything goes on this channel, I guess. So, which is complete. I'm not saying it's different, but I'm in the mode of I'm the head and I'm the eyes of the brand Fetty and the how what's being posted and everything. So sometimes those interactions they do very well, but there's a point, there's a limit. So cutting out curse words and cutting out all that stuff is how it can be saved. But that's how when you're asking those provoking questions like an interview or you're in an environment where people are drinking, it's bound to happen and stuff gets tough. So that's why I feel like the whole streaming environment and ecosystem now is it's tough because at least for us and for a lot of other creators, you can edit it after the fact.
Yeah.
Like you know what's going to be in the video and what's not. Streaming, anything goes. Somebody could say some wild stuff or something that's very controversial or something that can ruin that person's reputation,
Right.
and it's over with. So, um, yeah, saying that if you hit this shot, I will give you the best head of your life. It was ridiculous. And then obviously, we've had some like worst thing your ex has done to you. What there's a lot of questions that are questionable, but that's what the people love to see is
Right.
like insane stories. That's what gets the shares, and that's what gets. Hey, is this so and so? Like, is that the friend? Oh, is he talking about this ex? Like,
Yeah.
it's a streamline. It catches on like a wildfire if it's like a
Did,
really viral clip.
did the Cincy girl come back to you and be like, "Yo, you got to take this down," or she's just
No,
totally fine with it? She just
yeah,
sent you the part.
she posted it on her story. Like she was an advocate. Yeah, and I think she was in the thumbnail. She was, yeah, yeah.
Yo, that girl's crazy, bro. Holy cow.
Well, and then I went to the boyfriend too. I was like, "You good with this?" Like, realize what she just said. He's like, "I don't care." Like, he's like, "It's good for me." He's like, "It looks like I'm getting women." I'm like, "Okay."
Jesus
I was
Christ.
like, "Yeah, let me play this at your wedding, and let me."
I mean,
But
it's a good story for them. Holy cow.
yeah, for sure. But
Um, all right. So moving on to um from the boys in '98. So like at the next stage, what you did is you're filming for a bunch of celebrities, right? Like a David Goggins, a Deion Sanders, a Mark Cuban. Like my first question is, how did your job at the Boys in '98 get you that next job? Now filming like billionaires. It's a big step from the college kids to now real public figures.
yeah, I don't think I've ever told this, but it was just I want something and I'm gonna make it happen and I'm gonna get it. So when before I went on tour with the boys, I was in talks with them. Now they lived their offices. So the main product and the main company is called the Aspire Tour. So the Aspire Tour is they bring all those names that you mentioned and they bring them out and they bring them on stage. They all have a slot for about 45 minutes. And we all go to a location. So we'll say like Aspire Tour Orlando, Aspire Tour Denver, Aspire
Right.
Tour Phoenix, any city, and we bring out certain talent out there. So I was in charge of filming the behind the scenes footage of in betweens with I used to film for a guy named Andrew Cordell.
Mm.
So his schedule was my schedule. So not only with these high level celebrities, but a high level achiever, a man that is living this lifestyle and living at this pace. Go, 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 never stop. Um, I was already, I think the boys in '98 lifestyle, the always traveling, something constantly wheels are turning. I was prepared to do that opportunity. So before I went on tour with the boys in '98, I was in talks with them. I wrote handwritten letters, sent them into the office. My name, the current chief branding officer, and he's still there. Shout out to Charlie. He sending in notes. I really want an opportunity. Just give me a chance. Like, here's my resume. And then I went to Miami to a real estate convention and I just filmed them a reel for free.
Mm.
But the end goal was I want to send this edit to the Aspire Tour people. So that way, hey, I'm still sharp. I'm always hungry. And this is an example of a live event thing that I shot and I edited. So another like every week, every other week, I would send in a letter and I would send in a hard drive of work saying like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still in your ear. I'm still interested. And ultimately, I kind of created a job for myself. Like they have plenty of videographers, but Charlie saw and he gave me an opportunity to where because I was so persistent, I was like, I want this. I love your guys' company. I
Yeah.
love the work that you guys do. I was in a limbo. They were ready to offer me a job, but I didn't know the numbers and I didn't know if they were ready yet. And then the boys in '98 came around. So I was in a limbo. I got two opportunities here. So I talked with the Aspire Tour guy. I was like, listen, I was like, this YouTube group. So then he's pulling it up. He's got the TV up with the YouTube group. He's like, bro, go. He's like, December time when you come back, January time, like we'll be in a better position and we can reevaluate. But go on tour, learn what you need to know, create cool shit, and then we'll be ready for you in January or December. I was like, God, this is best of both worlds. But I had to take care, went on tour. So then when I came back on tour, I did the same thing. Now I'm going in the office with them. I'm warming up to the guy that I'd be filming with. So that was like a month process before I even got hired. I was like, I want to make sure we're good. So then they offered me the job. And then for 6 months, I was with them before I got laid off. But during that time, there's about like 2 or 3 months where I was not home.
Mm.
And this is my first time with like people that with this amount of money, this amount of success, and this amount of knowledge and wisdom, and just being around these heavy hitters and feeling their importance and how people saw their importance as well. Um, so my first day on the job, my first weekend was when I was in Dallas for the first time, and Mark Cuban came backstage, first time meeting him, and on the spot, they said that you need to go and walk out with Mark. Like we need an angle of him walking out with the crowd, him waving. I'm like, okay, you guys want me? They're like, yeah, everyone else is busy. Everyone else is getting a different angle. So I'm like, fuck, okay. I was like, not only am I trying to like make sure that Mark looks good, but making sure that I don't trip over my feet in front of 4,000 people. So he walks out. There's a video. Everyone thinks that it's AI generated or like the photo of me and Mark is like fake or Photoshop, but it's real. And that was my first like real day on the job. Like all the times prior, I was just editing like clips, but that was my first shot, first gig.
Yeah.
And then since then, that transitioned from just me filming the events or only flying in once a month to me joining his A team, flying private with him, meeting his family, immersing myself and being an extension of his team. And I was his right hand man, his videographer, anything that needed to be filmed, I was filming. So behind the scenes, not only filming, but also editing by myself the weekly vlog, making the thumbnails and storytelling it and adding testimonials during the office while I'm editing. We're filming during the weekend or during the weeks. And then we would come back and we would film him talking about the week, almost like Survivor, where
Yeah.
kind of like
I
it
saw
looks like
that.
in the
Right.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was an element that kind of gave perspective and kind of like stepping away from, wow, he's talking about this, but like we're also live watching this like live in the flesh. Like, is he just like he'd film something and then like he's reflecting on it? But yeah, I was the man of ship and I was editing and filming all of that. So I mean, some weeks like bouncing from Florida to Phoenix, Phoenix to LA, LA to New York, New York to Chicago, and then like there was just a stretch where like I'm filming, editing, I'm talking with my media team, and I'm like, I need help. Like, can you guys make a thumbnail? Like, I'm trying to make this weekly thing. It was a lot. I like had just turned 21 and I'm figuring this all out. But if it weren't for the boys, I don't think I would have been prepared.
Yeah.
And then also keeping it professional, keeping it cordial, building relationships and going and meeting all these high level celebrities, knowing when to respect their space, when to chime in, and knowing how to film without putting this big schnozzle lens in front of their face. Like, hey, can you say something? Like being discreet, catching the mic'd up, like moments that not a lot of people probably get to see their side of these people like Dion and Kendra Scott and
Yeah.
yeah, Barry Sanders, like all these people. And so
Let's talk about that for a second because I this past weekend I was in Egypt and I saw the Shark Tank guy. His name's Robert, and I was like,
yep,
"Shit, bro! Like, dude, if I could get this guy to say something for my channel, I could be so lit." I ended up freezing up. I'm like, "Ah, I can't do it." So I
yeah.
was a little soft there, but I'm also thinking like, when is the right time you see a celebrity out to go like this? Like, is this bad? When is it? How did you approach that?
Well, I was in a spot to where they knew that I was with like Andrew's team,
Yeah.
but also I'd have to go and get stuff on my own. Like the CEO I was filming for, like he's doing his own thing, or he's about to get on stage, walk on stage. So I had to have the balls, or I'd have to like go and like quickly, just for like a bit or just like a testimonial, like bring the celebrity, like, and I would have other people kind of help me, but bring
Yeah.
them and talk with them, or just even like a quick story. Um, you you kind of explain it as well. Obviously, you introduce yourself, and then you explain it as like, what's this for? And then any pieces. And then I would feel so stressed when like they didn't talk or they didn't give me what I wanted for the video. Like it was
Yeah.
just kind of like flat or dry. So having to tell like Gary Vaynerchuk to like redo something is, or there was some like people that they always came around. Like I know what's Derek Jeter's teammate? A Rod. A Rod was always just like around floating, and just being around these guys and just getting head nods, like, "Hey, how we doing? How we doing?" I'm like, I used to watch you in like 2009, like when you guys won the World Series, and now I'm side by side with you. Like it's wild. Um, but the coolest thing was obviously the behind the scenes, but living with Andrew and filming and seeing a life that I want to strive for. Now, I'm not saying like private jets and stuff and like all that. Like that was great. That was cool. That was a quick, efficient way of traveling. But just seeing the stature and seeing like how some people move, some high level achievers and individuals operate
Yeah.
is it was a blessing at the age of 21. And I'm just pressing a record button. So it was uh it was super stressful. It was super high level, but it was pressure's a privilege. And if I knew that at the time, I'm like, okay, I don't want to fuck this up, and I want to make this the best that I can each video and each interaction, because this is just real world experience and resume that like I want to keep good relations, but I also want to make good work, and I
Yeah.
want videos that when people watch the recap, it's like, wow, you know, not only is it like shot well, it's also edited well, and this guy lives a pretty damn cool life. So
100%. And
yeah,
I know you filmed for Goggins, and I watched that video that you filmed on Andrew Cordell's YouTube where Goggins came out on stage.
and he brought the that woman.
Well, he brought the woman, but he comes out screaming. He's dropping F bombs left and right. He's trying to get him fired up. My question is he the same way behind stage? David Goggins. Did you
No,
see?
he's not. He's very he's there's two sides of Goggins. I've seen him enough. But I've been in just like intimate rooms when he tore his ACL and he's got his dog and he's just cracking jokes. His foot is like leg up, just like he's about to speak in front of 3,000 people, not a single fuck given. And he is making jokes, warming up, and then before he goes on stage, it's very quiet. It feels like everyone's got like a gun to their head. They're all like this. We're all like, okay, what's about to go down? And he gets in his zone because he knows as soon as he sees the light and as soon as he sees his people, probably even when he films, but I don't think he turns it off.
Yeah.
Um, he's got to be a firecracker. People look towards him for his energy, his leadership, his words, and to really like get people moving.
Yeah.
So he's got to go quiet and he's got to go into that space, that place for him before he goes. I mean, it could be he's done it so many times, and he would just always come, and we would always book him for events time after time. But seeing him was very motivational, very inspirational in person. Just I like not a single twitch, just laser focus and just really about whatever the tasks at hand.
Yeah. I love that guy. Like
Yeah.
I've read his book. His book's amazing. All right. So going into the last part of this, before we wrap this up. So you work for Fetty right now. You're the head creative strategy director, whatever you want to call it for Fetty. And like, bro, you've blown up, and like you've put Fetty on the map. I watched Fetty long before this interview, and I knew you ran it. But like first thing with Fetty, before we get into like what you do, uh, what is Fetty? Because Fetty's not just a social media page.
Right. It's a group rideshare. Short put, we're like Uber, but for big groups. So the house tours that we film, all the videos, the content, the interviews that you see online,
Yeah.
mostly young college people. Um, what we do is we are a group rideshare service that we transport big groups anywhere from 5 people to 15 people. Now we have 4 transit vans. What you do is we have a Fetty app. You download your app, you scan or you call a Fetty van, just like an Uber, like you would call anything to go out to the bars or to go somewhere. You call it, you book it, it comes to you. The thing that we eliminate is when Anthony, if me and you were gonna go to the bar, if we were gonna go out with like 4 or 5 other guys, someone's got to take that $46 Uber charge on the chin.
Mm.
The thing about Fetty is everyone pays for themselves. Everyone takes care and is obligated to take care of themselves. So we use AI, and when a van pulls up, you use your app, your Fetty app on your phone, and you scan the QR code on the outside of the van. So that registers, okay, this is the van, this is the group I'm with, and it'll come up with your price.
Yeah.
Anywhere from $4, $5. If it's like New Year's Eve, it would be like $13. Depends on location, the time of the night, and like how big your group is, and just the sheer demand of how many vans we have available. So you scan into the app, everyone's in, the driver won't leave until everyone's paid and everyone is covered. Yeah, 15 people max. We ride to the bar, we ride to the football game, we ride back home drunk, and the reason why all of the college stuff and why Fetty, the brand on socials, is like so college heavy is because we launch in college markets, college towns, college cities, because that's who's going to be booking the Fetties the most and the demand. Obviously, we have the bachelorette groups, we have the weddings, we have the older side. I don't want to say old, but the others,
Yeah.
and that's still a demand as well. But we're going to feed into, and obviously, like college content is more attractive. Like I don't know if people want to watch a bachelorette sizzle. That's great, but I had to, because of the boys, I had we filmed house tours, party sizzles. So I just took, okay, from the boys, like just what did we do that I can take and implement into this now? So I'm like, all right, the house tour idea was a complete accident. And now to what it is, like I edited that, we filmed it, edited it, like, and even when we went to Alabama, Cole knocking on doors being like, hey boys, this is what we're trying to do, even in the DMs, this is the goal, this is what we're trying to recreate. Are you guys down? Yeah, let's get some boys, get some brothers around, cool, make it happen. And man, the first early days, like in September, like I hired on, and then we immediately like just started rolling. The first 4 months I'm traveling with Matthew Iomi, our CEO, and we're going out and we're filming the house tours, and we're going to all these parties, and he's here with me. He's traveling with me. He's seeing what these kids want to see, and from that we just scaled. After the first 4 months, we just hit all of our Fetty markets in our schools. So like we're in Nashville, Phoenix, Broadway area. We're in Atlanta, so Georgia Tech. We're in all of Texas, Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio. So Austin is our biggest, like just sheer vans wise. I'm not sure how many vans we have here, but I know it's above like 30.
Yeah.
And then we're also in where else are we? We are in, oh man, I know we're in 6 states, 14 cities. And biggest thing when people see Fetty and as like they're scrolling, they don't recognize that it's a rideshare. So recently this year in January, I'm thinking, how can I automate this? How can we automate this and reach everyone around the nation? Not only just like our markets. So that way we're going to schools. We're launching these school counts, just very similar to Barstool. We're launching these school counts to where when it's time to launch in the rideshare, people already know or familiar with the brand. And we
Right.
get looked at all the time like, oh, that's the house tour brand. Oh, that's the people that do the house tours. It's like, yeah, that's great. That's all we needed. The whole purpose and goal was to be a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
And so then we translate it to pitching our product and showing our product. So in January, I hired and had to make an influx of videographers because I can't travel to 60 schools simultaneously like an octopus. So reaching out to schools and fraternities and Greek orgs all around the country and showcasing them all at the same time. So where there's multiple house tours being filmed every weekend, and we're able to reach this brand nationwide. Random kids in New Jersey are knowing us. Random kids in Los Angeles, Oregon, Washington. Like it's that's how we have been able to scale. And we had for spring semester, as it not being really as like an intense or as like the fall time, that's when everyone's out, everyone's throwing tailgates, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
For the spring, we had a pretty successful spring. And we have Instagram account managers that run all the accounts. They book all the house tours. And it's just me. Here's the vision, having to hop on cold call phone calls with any like college freshman. This is what we're trying to do. Okay, like, so who's on the team? Well, actually, you'll be the first one. And they're like, okay. I'm like, this is going great. But it worked out. And the early days, it was pretty tough. It's still the very early days. Like
Yeah.
it's still, I'm still trying to make it successful and still trying to make it even bigger every single time, every single week. Coming up with, I mean, on top of like filming and editing the content, but also being the ideologist, like coming up content strategies and ideas that the brand needs and what makes sense, working with creators and working with different types of filming rather than just like, all right, we're just this house tour, but it's like, all right, coming up with, let's do a Fetty night out with Sydney Thomas. Um, let's do obviously public interviews. Let's do tailgate sizzles where we sponsor these bigger parties. We have our flag hanging up. We have people wearing the hats. We have there's a multitude of different pieces that people can tag their friends. They can share, and people know. Oh, Fetty was here, and it's just we don't post alcohol. We don't really post cursing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of opportunity to where there's a lot of like risk in the content of like being shown, and like obviously we do a pretty good job of like sending it, making sure it gets approved, no one gets in trouble. But to show the college lifestyle and to show the college brand without being it in a negative way, it's just
It's
all
it's genius.
thank
It's
you.
like it's a fantastic marketing scheme, and I wish my school had Fetty because, bro, like the actual just like concept of it. It's like you always eat that 50, 80, whatever it is dollar charge. Sometimes people don't show up. Bro, to be in a big band with a bunch of people going to bar is way more fun than getting an Uber. You can drink there, no issue. Like it's such a good idea, and I love the strategy behind it. My question is though, like, what did Fetty look like before you came in? What was Fetty before Tim, and what's Fetty after Tim? From like a social media and I guess business perspective.
That's a great question. The way that I got brought on was from the boys in '98. This is a full circle moment. So I just got laid off from Andrew and the Aspire team. They no longer needed me and a couple other people, and it wasn't anything performance wise. And what happened is there was like probably a month, and Chip and the boys in '98, they're always like they always had me in the back of my head. I'm always like just texting, reaching out to my people, like, do you got any opportunities? Like, do you have anyone? And so Fetty and Fetty CEO Matthew DM'd the Boys in '98 account. Was like, hey, do you guys have any videographers? And they're like, yeah, we got this guy. So then Matthew, like the CEO, he DM'd me, and I texted the Boys in '98 guy, Chip. I was like, what is this? What are you feeding me? Like, and he's like, I don't know. I was like, do you know this guy, Matthew? He's like, no. I was like, all right, I'll take a call. And very just like God is great. Like the same day that I got the call from the Fetty CEO, the same day I got the call from Fetty, my girlfriend at the time, long distance, that I ended up meeting on the tour with the boys in 98. We dated long distance my whole time traveling with these celebrities we dated. She broke up with me and I got the call from Fetty. And I was just like, I got to pull it together. I'm like, that morning, tossed the whole relationship. Then in the fall, or that later afternoon, like 2 o'clock, what was supposed to be a 15-minute call turned into 3 hours with me and Matthew. And we workshopped it out. Initially, like, conversating, talking, and what turned into. And he was like, I was like, it sounds like you don't just need like a one-off videographer, just someone to film like projects here and there. I was like, you need someone to build out this whole media entertainment arm. He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I got a guy for you. And he's like, okay, just send me his number. I was like, no. I was like, you're talking to him. I was like, I'm your guy. Like, balls drag. Like, I was just very confident. I was very hungry. I was like, I'm ready to go. I was like, I've never worked in a startup. I have no experience. I love what I do, and I figure it out. Throw me in the fire and figure it out. That's the boys in 98, same thing. Aspire Tour, same thing. So this is familiar territory. But the biggest difference was this leadership aspect and building out and being like the head of it. So,
And I saw that CEO talk about, I think it was in a podcast with Lucas Paxter, and he mentioned that 3 hour call, and he was saying all this good stuff. So kudos to you. So you built it from the ground up. Like, it was 0 followers, social media, and then
I think when I joined, I think we were at 24,000.
it's at like 200,000 now, right? 250.
It's at, I think we just hit 131K. I wish we were at 200. On TikTok was ground zero. TikTok, I joined and it was like 600 followers. And now we're at almost 63K. Yeah. And I joined in September. So I got the call. We finished with the 3 hour call. I go to my parents. I'm like, hear me out. I was like, it went good. Now I was in talks with other people as well. I was like, we got this plan. And I said, but the kicker is I need to move to Austin, Texas, like next week. And she's like, you gotta be shitting me. I was like, yeah. So that week, I got the call on Monday. And so I had an Imagine Dragons concert with my dad in Orlando. And so Matt, to end the phone call, was like, hey, can you, he's like, where are you going to be this Friday? I'm like, oh, I'm going to be in Orlando. He's like, okay. He's like, are you good if I come and fly and meet you there this Friday? I'm like, oh shit. I was like, this guy he's about it. Like, he's ready to get this shit going. I was like, yeah. I was like, is it okay if my dad's going to be there? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So he flew in Friday. He flew in from Nashville because we were just launching, our ride share in Nashville at the time with our other reps. So he was up there. So he flew from Nashville to Florida in Orlando, and he met me and my father. We got lunch at some steakhouse, and we continued to talk for 4 more hours, kind of explain like what's involved, continue to interview me, talk to me. Now I was still 21 at the time. And so I then, he said, here's the layout with equity and salary and everything, like pitches a job. And that was the last final test. And based on my answer, I said, I was like, we're in this team together. I was like, every other department, as long as we take care of our stuff, we do our role, anything to continue to propel the company forward. Like, we all have this equity together. We all have this main mission and main goal of making Fetty the biggest thing possible online, rideshare service wise, making the customer experience smooth, easy, a fun brand. And so he met me Friday. I said yes Sunday, and that following Thursday, I started the drive from Florida, 17 hours to Texas, and I moved in that Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you're not lying when you say this lifestyle is like, it's very spontaneous. You're on the road 24/7. That's like half the fun of it. Like, it's just kind of adventurous, bro.
Oh yeah. No, it gets my blood flowing. Yeah. It's real life, like, it's real life money. It's real life, like, And I'm just like, and in my head, I'm like, I'm doing all this, and I'm just like, I'm filming. I'm like, I'm filming this, and this is.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like take the work seriously and like plan out stuff, and like we have end goals. But it's like if I never picked up a camera, and if I didn't for test grades in high school didn't start filming sports and then editing it, I have no clue where my life would have been. I like and saying yes to opportunities, to getting only paid a lump sum from the boys, but just
Yeah.
doing it because I love it for free. I would not be where I'm at without saying yes to that and saying yes to stuff time and time again. So, um, yeah, it's grown the account, grown the brand. Now we got the advertisement going. It's still very early stages. There's still a lot that needs to be worked on
Yeah.
media wise. There's always the best next ideas always out there, the next big collab, the next big it's always having the goalpost and then continuously moving it back and back and back. And it's hard to stay like you don't there's no like we have an end goal but we just don't know when. And that's the startup lifestyle, and it's something that you're always itching to just get your shit done and then move on to the next big thing
Yeah.
and then next big thing. And there's a bunch of mini projects, but I've had a lot of great moments, a lot of great achievements since being with Fetty. And obviously like with my career being at such a young age, but I think my best is still out there and it's still
100%.
best to come. So yeah.
Fires me up. All right, so we're nearing the end. I've got two rapid fire questions, and then I want to ask you about Sydney Thomas. So first one,
Let's do
first
it.
one. Uh, so obviously Fetty, right? You and your team are going to all these different sorority and fraternity houses. Which
Yeah.
has been the nicest fraternity and sorority house you've been to?
The nicest. Okay. Um, I would say, Um, there's two ways we could look at this. It's either like the nicest house, but obviously like during the weekend, like they take care of us hospitality wise, like on top of parties. So um, the southern frats like Texas, they don't play with the hospitality. They're always so welcoming, so well put together. Great groups of guys. So I would say there's probably two for frats. I like the guys at Theta Chi at the University of Alabama, and even still, like still they, because I still on tour, I still keep good contact with them because they got new social chairs and they got opportunities. Like that's why like building a college system is so good because college is here to stay. They got a new influx of freshmen rolling through, and so it's something that it's going to keep rolling and continue to go. So Theta Chi at the University of Alabama, and then I would say at Texas A&M, SAE, it's very they the day that I saw a kangaroo at a house tour was the day I'm like, all right, this is the holy Mecca. They bought the like. There's a plenty of times like once I put the camera down, like me and the CEO put the camera down, and be like, yo, boys, tell us like some stories that we're not filming, just like just guy to guy talk. So they told us the story about how they bought the kangaroo,
Yeah.
where one of the guys was just drunk and bought him on Facebook Marketplace, and it was just a baby Roo. And he pulls up to the house. Now I think there was probably like 2 or 3 months that they've had him, but they've raised him, and he's still, I believe, kicking. Uh, I'm not sure, but that was pretty wild. And then with on the Boys in '98, I was on tour, and there was a really nice frat. ATO at Iowa State will forever, like there was some guys that like you come across like certain guys in some of these houses, and it's like if I was here, we would have been hanging out every single day. And when we're going to these places, it's like you build not deep connections, but you do a lot in such a short amount of time. And each weekend, it's like we explore and we do everything that you could in 4 years in 4 days.
Right.
Even like with Fetty, it's like even amplified. Like we would do more and then some. Like, but as like around the nation, like you just meet guys, and it's pretty cool. It's like I gotta leave you guys. Like we'll keep in touch. Sororities wise, the best and the nicest. I would say, ah, man. I mean, I've even the stuff that I haven't gone out and filmed, but I'm getting these footage of some of these houses, like, and I'm taking back, like, our guy at University of Arizona, he'll go and film. And some of these mansions, some of these houses that, like, so Sigma Kappa at the University of Arizona is a castle. It's the granite, the big stairwell, and the amount of money and the dues, and like it's cool hearing the stats of like, okay, this is an $18.9 million home. It's about $3,000 of rent, and we got about 48 guys that live here, or 60 girls live here. But the day that I went to the University of Alabama, and I saw even, I mean, just any sorority, but we did Gamma Phi Beta, and their house, knowing that they sleep almost 100 girls, movie rooms, the dining that they have, it's it's just something that, like, the fact that this is like all around the country, and like especially at Alabama, like Greek life is huge, but just around the country, that there's an environment and then there's a place for all these girls that it's unknown territory. They don't know what they're getting into,
Right.
and they join a sorority. And it's like some of the best. It's one of the best decisions they ever did. So to be like, there's a lot of comments, and I get DMs like just from my work from Fetty and the boys, like, dude, you're an honorary member. You can come by anytime. Like, beers on us. I'm like, appreciate it, guys, but
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna. I don't really drink. Like, I don't. I keep my head on straight, and I got a $1,000 camera in my hand, so I can't. Um, I
Yeah,
gotta
those
steal.
those houses are like absurd, bro. Like
Yeah,
they actually, when you say it's a castle or a mansion, like it genuinely is.
yeah.
And one of the girls that is at Alabama, and I don't know if she's in a sorority or not, but it's Sydney Thomas. And I saw that you guys did a night out with her with Fetty, and I assume you were behind the camera that night, or no?
I was.
You were.
I
All
was.
right. So what's it like going out with Sydney Thomas?
It was great. It was me and all of her friends. I think there was probably like 7 of them. It was Sydney, and then I think all of her friends since I like longtime friends, Maddie, Reagan, Reeve, and what we did was I just showed up to her house. The boss, the CEO, he dropped me off, and now this was the biggest weekend of the year. This was before Ryan Williams was taking ankles and people knew who he was. So it's Bama, Georgia, at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and it's that Friday night before the game, and I go up to Sydney's house. It's like a townhouse, and they're all pre-gaming inside. And I just go in. I did not have to direct a single thing. They were just on it, media trained. They knew what you wanted. Here and there, it's like, hey, is this good? Do we need to redo this? And they're like, and they'd even say like, oh, do I look fat in this? I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, are you kidding me? And they knew what to do. I said, here's what we're trying to do. I'm just gonna follow you guys throughout the night. We're gonna get some shots here. I gotta get you guys like taking the van. We'll pregame. We'll film, like we'll listen to Young Boy in the Fetty van. And once we got to like we went to a frat party first. We hit Theta Chi, and then we got some shots there. So when I don't go to the university, and people don't know or really care for who I am,
Yeah.
and there's a gated fence. So we're trying to get into this frat house. It's like a big open lawn. We're trying to squeeze through this fence. Now I got Sydney behind me with like all of her friends, like probably 6, 7 of them. We're all trying to get in. Now we're all being pressed up by these guys, and there's guys like shoulder checking me. They're pushing me. They're like pushing my face against the fence. And then they realize when Sydney is behind me, or we're all like kind of holding each other's shoulders or arms to like kind of just like brush through and get through. Or I would take their hand, like not drag them, but like kind of like guide them, like, hey, come on, like here's a gap opening. The guys are trying to let us through. Only then they would kind of lay off, which is horrible. It's just like, I'm a human being. You should be able to let me go through. Fine. But so there's probably close to like 200 people that are trying to swarm in and trying to get through this gap. So me, Sydney, and all our friends, we finally get in. We film our pieces. And Sydney was great. She's like, what else do you need? We're backstage. Like, we'll meet you out to the Fetty. And so then we filmed that, flew the drone, Project X type stuff. Like, it was something that I've never seen, party wise and nightlife wise, to get that many group of people in a condensed space. And what was cool was, on our side, we had, I don't know the name of the DJ, but on the opposite side, literally back to back, was 2 AV setups. On the other lawn at another frat, Waka Flocka, which is like casually performing on a Friday night. I'm like, this is
Frat?
at a frat. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, they just book out these people, Lil Mosey, just like people that just on a casual, like, let's bring Lil Pump, let's bring whoever we can get. And so simultaneously, like, 2 big AV stage setups, like back to back backyards, like in the front lawn. I was like, this is sick.
Shit.
Project X type level stuff. And got a very cool drone shot of like all the letters and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we filmed the night out. Then we hop in the van, we go to the next one, and we go to the bar called Rounders. And I had quite a few people from like my hometown that go to the University of Alabama. They're like, Tim, what are you doing here? I'm like, and then they see me with, now she's pretty well known, and she got a great following just from herself, like before the Jake Paul fight. So we filmed the Fetty night out in October.
Yeah.
And the fight was the following month. It was the first week of October, and then the first week of November was when she was the ring girl. And we went to Rounders, and at the time we were going to go in with Alex Eubanks, Jaden from, I think, the Montana Boys, and a couple of the Montana Boys were in town. Everyone was in town that weekend. Like, it was packed. And here comes, I knew none of these influencers. I'm just like, all right, I got to take care of Sydney and her squad, make sure they're safe, and make sure I get my content. So we originally don't go to Rounders, and we're going up the street. And like, Sydney's walking with me. We're all like just a line, and we're all just like walking to the bar up above. And it's just like this shitty hole in the wall. We're just trying to go get like lemon drop shops, or like the Christmas mint shots. And yeah, they were trying to get me very drunk. They were trying to get me tossed. And I was just like,
I saw the clip, and they're like, you got to take a shot with us.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And
Did you take
and
a
like,
shot?
I'm fresh 21.
Okay.
Or yeah. No, I was still 21 at the time. Yeah. And we go to the bar, but when we're walking up the street, like, the eyes that people would not only give them of like, oh my God, like, they're just so infatuated, like, just looks wise, like the way they carry themselves is it's very moving. And so with, then they see me, and just like, okay, who is this kid? Who is this guy? Who does he think he is? Or why are they following him? And I got a camera and everything. And so then even old guys, like sweet old guys, like buying them shots, we got into any bar that we could, like, for free, like, yeah, come on through. We got drinks for free. And then we walk back, we go inside the bar, and just had a night. Ended the night at 3 a.m. with Jimmy John's, and then saw them the next day. Everyone was tossed. Everyone was like super hungover from the night prior, but it was Bama, Georgia. It was a night game, so early morning tailgate. So then the next day we filmed an outfit of the day with Sydney and Reagan. We pulled it together. Like, I got back home, or my boss, like, he picked me up. He's like, so how was everything? I'm like, I'm so like, there's so many emotions, so many thoughts, so much like going on. I was like, I need to like just
The anxiety, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Got McDonald's as well.
Okay.
After the Jimmy John's. But yeah, it was Sydney was great, and Sydney like was super media trained. Like, I mean, she works with so many brands, works with so many people, and even all those other girls too, to where they know exactly what they want, and they know exactly how they're gonna look on the camera. So they're turning certain ways. This is my good side, certain hand emotions, reactions, like being shocked, like, having the phone out, scanning in for the app, scanning into the Fetty.
Yeah.
I did not know that Young Boy was so popular, but yeah, like word for word, bar for bar from the whole group for Young Boy. Like, yeah, they're just about it. They were a fun group. That's one of the best nights going out, and it was
Good time.
yes, it
I saw
was
that video. It looked like a lot of fun. It
yeah.
looked awesome. And the way you said the media training and like they knew what they were doing, I could totally tell. Like I saw the scan thing and like bro, like just the hand, like everything. So that was awesome. Tim, I know we're at the end of this right now, but I've got to say, like, for the person that listens to this whole thing, what they're gonna walk away with is just like inspiration, and they're gonna walk away with like one phrase. It's like, whatever I dream or whatever I put myself to do is something I can accomplish. And it doesn't matter what my age is or what my circumstances were, or if I went to trade school, if I went to college. Like your story and your resume, bro, it's very, very impressive. And I know that people are going to take value from this. So I appreciate it for coming on this podcast and delivering all this stuff. And I just want to say thank you.
You said what?
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, bro, Anthony, thank you, man. This is my first podcast. I hope the people got with something. Yeah, when the crowd of fish are swimming one way, you gotta go the other way. If
Real.
you're very passionate about something, it doesn't. If you're listening and watching to this point, it doesn't even have to be videography related, creative director role related. If you're in the position to be creatively gifted and to be able to do a lot with your life, any opportunity that comes your way, you don't want to regret it. If it's pressure, if it's hard, if it's something that you think you're unqualified and you're unsure of and you don't know how it's going to go, take that leap of faith and try it out. And you'll thank yourself later. And I feel like I lived a lot of lifetimes, but I think for my age, it's been what needed. And I think any young person should have the utmost pressure in their career, and that is going to lead you to a lot later on. That because I would be a senior, I'd be graduating college right now, and everyone,
Yeah.
yeah, like I would have been graduating like a couple weeks ago, and I've been in the workforce, and I've been doing all this work for the past couple years. So you're a product of your environment. Surround yourself with people, inspirational people, high level thinkers and achievers. Stay in touch. You never know what opportunity is going to come by just from casually meeting someone, copping on a quick phone call, doing a podcast.
Yeah.
People are nice in this world and they look out for each other. So if you show up with your skills and you show up every day and treat people how you want to be treated, then you'll be fled forward and you'll meet the right people that God has meant for you to meet. So
Absolutely. Well
Anthony,
said.
bro, I can't thank you enough. I had a blast. I hope the biggest thing I wanted to give was value. And I love what you're building, gross potential. Listen, if you're Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you need to get your gross potential podcast information, Anthony always comes prepared with the questions. And it was an honor, brother. And I can't thank you enough, man, for the platform and for this podcast, man.
Well, awesome. So thank you for everyone who's listened. Tim, where can people find you?
Yeah, on Instagram at Tim Hofacker, TikTok at Tim Hofacker, on YouTube at Tim Hofacker. That's it's Hofacker. I post a lot of behind the scenes. I post my journey, a lot of the behind the scenes with some of the people that we've been talking about. My whole journey, my life is out there, and it's inspiration. So if you guys want to follow me or connect with me, even on LinkedIn, it's just my first and last name. That's the best way to reach me. But above anything, if you guys want to watch the content of Fetty, it's at Fetii. Fetii on Fetty. But yeah,
Awesome.
man.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you guys.